Hi class, this is your instructor Marshall Sponder for the beginning of social media measurement course of UC California Irvine, UCI Irvine, and I guess I want to welcome you to the class and also ask you to supply me your name and email address and telephone number for the NetBase access. The class is going to have access to NetBase social media measurement platform. It's usually a platform that costs several $1,000s a year for access, but we'll have free access to it for the course. And the reason that I argue that we should have something like this is because I wanted students to seriously try to use these tools and not be stuck with the free tools that were a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but not really there. And so we have permission to do that. And your course assignments are really going to be based on the material that you're going to be working through NetBase Composer primarily. The only exception, I believe, will be week 5, where it's mostly web analytics. But the rest of them will be using NetBase. I haven't really supplied you with like a PowerPoint template to put your assignments into. I've been thinking about that, but the assignments themselves are fairly explicit in terms of the way the material needs to be submitted, and that there needs to be some screenshots of your the work that you're doing. So my feeling is that that's enough, and that I will let it to your creativity to fill in the edges and be creative with your presentations, since that's fine with me. Another thing I want to bring up is a decision I've made to not have quizzes in this course. The reason why I believe that we don't need quizzes is that your understanding of the material will be pretty evident by the way you're doing your assignments and the fact that you have access. I'm also feeling that with the sheer wealth of material that I've given you in this course, trying to figure out what the right questions are to test you or to quiz you or to trick you into giving me answers doesn't seem to really be necessary. It seems to be a waste of time, honestly. And from my own experience in teaching a related course at Rutgers this spring, my feeling was that the quizzes, while they had a valid reason to exist, it ended up being more trouble than they were worth. I found personally my own style of teaching is to really look at the material and engage each student with the material they're giving me, and coming up with a multiple choice question doesn't really seem to work for me. As an instructor, I don't see a real need for it, as long as I'm willing to spend the time to really read what a student has to submit and weigh in on it. And I find that's very satisfying for me as an instructor, and certainly it seems as if the students have responded to that. And so my point of view here is that students have enough between the quite a bit of reading that I truncated material in 6 weeks, along with some plenty of time to play with these tools. And at the end of the course, I've even given you a bonus, and I've recorded a couple hours of demos of various platforms that we've talked about in the class, including the influencer platforms, Tracker here, and Impact, but also Radiant 6, Basic and Advanced, Sysomos, Map and Heartbeat, Brandwatch. You've gotten a couple of other platforms in there as well. When you put it all together, quite a bit. I mean, I've even given you 6th Degree, I've given you some political stuff. I've tried to put a lot of information in the course that's extremely interesting and relevant. I've wondered at times, and really thought about this, whether I didn't provide a total answer to what do you do with social media to create analytics and measurement out of it. And what I've decided is that an answer to how to do everything in 6 weeks is simply not realistic. The previous version of this course had material that covered web analytics and clearly pointed out that there's a whole course development just for web analytics that's 4 or 5 courses. So there's no way that you can walk away in a 6-week course with everything you need to possibly ever know about social media measurement and the answers to every which way you would need to apply it to get ROI. Simply not possible to get that. On the other hand, I've given you so much good material. 2 required and 3 if you want to get all 3 books. Excellent material. A really interesting collection of lectures, which I have to admit, if I, under ideal conditions, if I had the time to rehearse and write scripts out for everything ahead of time, and if I were able to totally get my intonation of my voice, if everything were perfect, it could be that the sessions would be a little shorter and my voice would be a little smoother, but I think that it's okay as is. I think nothing's perfect and everything can always be better, but I think the course is pretty darn good as it is, as it stands. Also, there's another thing that I've been thinking about. Since majority of the course is recorded, there doesn't seem, in my mind, to be a real need for WebExes every week. I'm open to having one on the second week of the course and one on the last week of the course, or possibly right after the last week of the course. So, I mean, most of the material is already recorded. There is a lot of stuff, including this, and then on top of it, with all the stuff you've got to deal with, I think an additional WebExes aren't needed, but I'm willing to engage with students if they just want to reach out and call me up. If we set a time up ahead of time, that's okay. And of course, I'm very interested in what every student is doing. So with that, I want to really look at what you're doing and get into your world and see how I can help you move forward with your sense of what to do with these tools and platforms. And the goal of this course isn't necessarily, in my mind, for you to have an entire solution to the answer of anything, but rather I see this course as a grounding mechanism to prepare students to be able to evaluate platforms and tools and methodologies and make the best decisions they can, and also define how they're going to execute those decisions. I don't necessarily think, in fact I don't think, that an entire answer to the dilemma of social media measurement could be solved in this or any course. However, I also feel that I want you to walk away with something very tangible that you can take with you, which is why I argued for NetBase, for example, or Radiant 6 as a tool to use and not some free thing, and why I also argued and won that battle, by the way, and also argued that students need to try to really do real things, not fake things, but real problems, and learn by reflection and also by sharing their information with other students. So my way of interacting with you will be primarily through the discussion boards. You notice there's a student lounge, but you don't put your assignments there. You put them in the discussion forum for each week. And also you are going to, since you're not going to have quizzes, I will be evaluating and interacting with you primarily through the forums and through the feedback to your assignments. I'd like there to be some sort of collaborative critique of the work, but I'll need to see if we have permission for that. I'm sure we probably can work something out. And again, there should be some point where we can all meet online real time, but I don't think we need to do it every week. And I don't think that it's possible. We may not even need to do it at all. And anything else I'd want to bring up is I'm still updating the course, and it's possible that even after the course begins, I'll be updating parts of it and adding new things. Since there is no quizzes, most important thing is just to absorb the material, and though I realize there is a lot of material to absorb, I also feel that most of it's easy to take in. Now finally, I want to bring up a point, and that is, in addition to my lesson for the week, I've also included social media analytics instructors guides and recorded on them the way I've recorded the presentations. The reason for that is that you have social media analytics as your main book. It's my book, obviously, and I wrote an instructor's guide to go with the book that McGraw-Hill Education makes available to instructors so they don't have to create PowerPoints themselves. Well, it seemed to me that many of you you probably already have my book, and I hope you do have it, but because I know my book, and because the instructor's guides exist, and because I created them, I included them in the material. You don't have to listen to them, but I think if you do, you'll get the synthesis of the chapter and my own point of view. So you've read the chapter, and now you go and read listen to the instructor's guides, which is synopsis. I left a lot of the case studies out of the instructor's guide. I focused more on the points of view, and that's pretty much it. Obviously, there's no instructor's guide for the Pulse. At least if there is one, I don't have it. And there isn't anything for Listen First either. And those books are really supplemental, although I believe you should get the Pulse as well. But you don't have to get Listen First unless you want to. And that's it for this week. So this is an orientation week. The most important thing you guys need to do, you guys and girls need to do, is to get me your email and information so I can get you access to NetBase for the following week. And with that, I will bid you all adieu and enjoy the rest of your week, and go get your books and get everything going and look into the videos. And again, I've put some presentations. I've tried to color it up a little bit, so I hope you'll enjoy it. And that's Marshall Sponder, your instructor for social media measurement at UCI Extension Irvine. Cheers. Bye.